Broadcasting live from the luxury suite on the plain of Kylum, it's Tap Tap Concede. Hello, everybody. We're back in the luxury suite, because why wouldn't you be? For a very special Q&A episode of Tap Tap Concede. Joining me, I have Nelson.
Hey, that's me.
And Cameron.
Being dragged out of the luxury suite by my ankles, still like one hand on the rim of the hot tub and the other one holding like the receiver for the telephone, screaming that I need another grilled cheese and tomato soup delivered to the luxury suite.
Yeah, I've chained myself.
Bill it to room 307.
Yeah,
wherever Marchese is staying.
Yeah. I'm chained to the little like spigot that dispenses kombucha.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
It's very luxurious.
I'm hoping to be in the bathroom when the armed guards show up to remove us from the luxury suite.
I'm just trying to like stuff a goose down pillow into my pockets.
Okay. Nice.
Those pack down small, though.
When you said goose down, I was like, what? Where are you putting this goose? Like, what's that?
We're going to the goose down. I have no idea what that is, but I don't want to be anywhere near it.
But you know what people do want? To be near us in a commercial relationship as sponsors.
Ooh, definitely.
Yeah, despite all of that talk, I'd like to say a big shout out to Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com. They're a kingdom of cards, and you can use our affiliate code, which is /LRR, to tell them that you like us and that we're one of the reasons you're buying product for them. Although, like, conceivably, magic cards are the primary reason you're buying product from them.
Well, we could imagine a scenario where you want the magic cards more than for everyone to know that we sent you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's a bit of a stretch, but it's not a huge stretch. We can imagine.
Yeah, you want the people at Card Kingdom to know that you have the social cachet of being sent by us.
Yeah, exactly. And if you say Loading Ready Run sent me button, please, you will get a button. We just sent them a whole new batch of buttons, which is always nice to know that they are gone. And we have a lot of slogans, but we don't know which is the one they cracked into first. So you will get a Loading Ready Run button with one of several pithy new slogans. And as soon as we can tell you what it is, we'll start making promises. Okay.
Let us know in the comments below which button you got.
Yeah, actually, that
Please.
might be, yeah. And if you're like, well, now I've bought all these sealed product in America and singles worldwide from Card Kingdom, what shall I put them in? Why not some shields from Dragon Shield? We like Dragon Shield a lot. It's the sleeves that we use and we put in our store when our store is operational, which is currently not, but it's coming back at some point. And so if you're like, yeah, I also want Dragon Shield sleeves, you can use code LRRMTG5 to get 5% off your order. And finally, if you're thinking, man, I really want to support you, but not through this third-party capitalism, what if we get some direct contributions? Well, good news. That's what Patreon is for. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Literally, what we do is not possible without your direct support, and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much to everyone who supports us there at patreon.com.
Although, you might want to avoid using the App Store.
Apparently, they changed that.
Okay,
did that get struck down by the EU?
I think so.
Nice.
Good job,
But,
EU.
oh, yeah, but that is a good warning. Don't go through the App Store because then they take a 30% cut.
Yeah.
It's so rude.
In further problems, I heard good news and was just immediately like triggered. I was like, oh God, what's going to happen now? What do I need to sell? What do I need to invent?
Oh.
Yeah. I heard there's good news.
Well,
we're all in trouble.
Good news. You have been assigned to be on the Tap Tap Concede Listener Q&A podcast. How will you reply to their thoughtful and hard-crafted questions? Will you A, give them glib but funny answers? B, make them feel special and loved in a way that perhaps crosses into awkward territory but won't become apparent for several months? Or C, something else equally bad that I just came up with on the spot? James, what's our first question? With the understanding, oh God, with the understanding that UB isn't going anywhere, what do you think the proper cadence/percentage should be of in-universe versus out? Oh, and this is from Shivam, who's trying to rile us up.
Yeah, Shivam poking the cage here.
Shivam, like, wait a second, I don't have to invite these three people onto my podcast. I can just get them all in one shot.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, Shivam just throwing glitter into our eyes.
Yeah.
Right now.
Hey, Shivam, we're in the luxury suite.
Shivam.
You can't throw that around here.
I didn't know I was going to have to be awake for this podcast.
Okay. I mean, the man's got a point.
Yeah.
You know,
To be clear, what Shiva means by isn't going anywhere is that they will continue to release Universes Beyond products probably every year until there is no more Magic the Gathering.
Universes
Or
Beyond.
the world literally explodes.
Yeah. No, Universes Beyond is becoming more entrenched in Magic the Gathering because it's gone from, hey, these are some commander sets, or this is like a special Lord of the Rings draft set that you don't have to engage in, to now just being fully in Standard. Like, Standard is going to have Final Fantasy cards in it for and how long is the Standard rotation now? 2 years.
Well, I think it's going back to being 2 years after doing a stint of 3 or so. I can't remember if it's staying at 3. James, do you know? It's okay. Nobody has to know. The Standard rotation is changing right now. It's in the middle of a shift to being at the beginning of the calendar year, but I can't remember if it's staying at the current kind of like long version. But it's at least 2 years.
Yeah, the point being, even if they like do this thing where they're going to put Universes Beyond into Standard and they test it for like a year and people are very upset about it and they're like, okay, no more, right? Even if they do that, they're not going to ban like a whole set from Standard. That would be disastrous. So what they'll like, if this is just a blip, this is going to be a years long blip. Does that make sense?
It's not going to be a blip.
No, it's going to be forever.
The haters are not more than 50% of the community, I don't think. We know more of them because more of the haters are older, entrenched players, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think it doesn't.
The most loyal customers.
It doesn't even. I don't think the metric they'll use to decide how much Universes Beyond happens is going to be like how much people like or don't like it. It's how it will sell.
Sure.
Right?
Correct.
And so we will continue getting UB stuff until one of the product fails. Mm-hmm. And it will have to fail like fairly dramatically, I think, for these to stop happening. And I don't know, just my experience writing for Checkpoint is when a game doesn't do well, it just...
That's the end.
Yeah.
We have 3 Checkpoint writers on here.
We do.
True.
Yeah. No, the capture of Everything You Love by Capital is going great.
It's ongoing.
It's going great. It's going great. I can't wait till it happens to me.
There was actually some good news in the Checkpoint stories dump this week. Maybe they'll talk about it tomorrow on Chill Point. Can we get the question up one more time? I feel like I tried to divert us by just defining the terms of the first independent or the first dependent clause there. But what does Shivam actually want to know? What do you think the proper cadence / percentage should be of in-universe versus out? I'm going to say 69.
I don't know. I don't care as much about UB products, to be honest with you, unless I like the IP. Mm-hmm. And even if I do like the IP, I'm not legitimately. I am less interested in them as Magic cards. I've noticed as more UB has come out.
What is your dream UB? Because I know Graham cared a lot about the Time Lord set with Doctor
Who?
Yes, Doctor Who.
Okay, I've said many times that my dream UB set would be Discworld. Because I think
Terry Pratchett
Discworld
novels
would fit the flavor of Magic the Gathering in a complementary way that not all these UB sets do.
Yeah, honestly, Discworld could be half a decade of Magic sets though too, right? There's so many.
You'd never need to make an unset again if you made a Discworld set.
Yeah, there's that. You just maybe they could do a Discworld series of silver bordered sets that come out now. This Mark Rosewater would be so down, but the brand people would be like, we can't print any more of these ever again.
I don't think, but realistically, I think this would get me into the sauce. This would get me to open my wallet, which is, if you know me personally, you know it is clamped shut.
It's a pretty tall tower before Kathleen's like, I'm going to spend money on something I don't need to. You don't need to have. You need to have jumped through all of the flaming rings in succession.
It's a grew up on welfare kind of clamp shut. But Atlas. Give me Megaten and Persona, and then I was like, fine, I want a Demi-Fiend Commander deck. $170,
okay,
probably.
So I asked this question to relate to Shivam's, and I want to ask Cameron as well.
Yeah.
But imagining your dream UB, then what percentage of 1 year of Magic releases would be an appropriate, say it's only your favorite UB sets? What would yours be, do you know?
I'd say 0.5 per year. One of these in Standard.
0.5 per year.
I go 1 UB set in standard. I like that. 1 UB and 2 or 3 in universe Magic sets.
Okay, so say there's 5 Magic set releases that are the big set releases of the year. Like one of them, and then
5 full sets.
Sometimes we have 6 though. Yeah, like it depends.
Yeah.
So this year we already got Tarkir Dragonstorm
Banger.
and Ether Drift. Sorry, Ether Drift was this calendar year.
Yes, Ether Drift,
And we're about to get
which was better than it looked like a hat set then. But
they improved upon it. That's true. But we had 2 in universe, Ether Drift and then Tarkir Dragonstorm, and now we're about to get Final Fantasy like next week or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get the other beyond the space set and
hype for
and Avatar and Spider-Man. 6. So there's 6 full-on Magic standard sets this year.
I would like to. Okay, here's my ideal schedule.
So 1 would be good.
I would like to go back to 4 sets a year.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then I would like one of them to be UB.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like that too? So it's kind of at least it's like 1.5.
Yeah,
so 3 every 2 years or whatever.
Honestly, yeah, I'm a curmudgeonly old man at this point, and I think I liked the 1 block of Magic per year basically, plus a core set, and I think every other year one of those products should be UB.
Okay, fair enough.
Basically, that would be like the limits of my tolerance. Even like I like when Magic is weird.
Yeah.
I don't. Everything is a hat set. Honestly, they're always going to different themed places.
Oh yeah, but
and
sometimes
that's whether you acknowledge it or not. Also, the generic kind of like European fantasy setting is also a theme. Right. It is a theme.
Right.
Like vanilla is a flavor.
Oh yeah, but
and
I just feel that some of the sets maybe have deeply integrated the theme. Like for example, Eldraine is the sort of Welsh mythology plane.
Yeah.
But in a really thoughtful, transformative kind of way, right?
Yeah. And then like Outlaws of Thunder Junction was just like, I don't like cowboys.
Yeah.
I have ideological issues with cowboys.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's I didn't ever find out. I didn't do the lore digging or whatever, but also it seemed like the set didn't speak to explaining what this place was or what the theme was strongly enough that it left a regular sized impression upon the Magic community, because that set was also just like the biggest, hey, there's Omen Paths now set, and it was just like, this is like a time spiral-esque sort of soup of various characters coming from various places.
Yeah, we don't need to relitigate this, but I think they're all hat sets to an extent. They're all engaging or not in a way, even if there are universes within, is what we're, sort of rediscussing here. But I think what we all agree on is that we would like less UB than 50%.
I think I'd be okay with 2 a year for sure. Like, especially if we keep up with 5 or 6 sets, I think I'm fine with 2. And honestly, it's less important to me that each year there's a certain percentage of UB and not. And just more important that each set is an engaging and fun Magic set. And most of the UBs have done that, although Assassin's Creed kind of didn't really get its moment, so like we couldn't draft it, and they didn't make commander decks. And so I think I'm not alone. I'm probably in the great majority when I admit that I read some of those cards, but I never found a play experience to be like, I'm going to try the Assassin's Creed cards. Like, I would have had to buy a box or 2 and then trade or buy singles, or just buy singles and then build a Assassin's Creed deck for a format in order to, or 2 probably, because I need to have someone to play with as well in order to find that set. So that one I feel like is a miss, but most of them, like the Lord of the Rings set, was great fun. I enjoyed it.
I mean,
Lord
they
of the
made
Rings
some
set
busted
was
cards,
legitimately a banger.
But the limited was good, and the commander sets were good, and I feel like the Final Fantasy set is shaping up to look really fun as well for the draft format and stuff. Yeah. So hopefully that'll be great. So if they just keep delivering great sets, I'm fine if they do 3 or 4 a year. And then there's a small caveat where we used to have a block format, and it felt like the characters in Magic were going on a little adventure every year.
Yeah.
That had a beginning, middle, and end most years, or sometimes it was a 3-year arc.
I mean, that's
so I
kind of
miss that
story-wise.
They are still doing that. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not super plugged into the story, but I read some of it sometimes. Yeah.
You know what? It's surprisingly good, and I will say that I think that we just kind of finished up a little like arc too.
Right.
So if you want to get into Magic Story, probably a really good place to get into Magic Story will be Edge of Eternities.
Okay.
So if you want to start reading then. But the interesting thing about Magic Story is that it's good, given the limitations. We've always said that just give them a book.
Right.
So maybe we can keep manifesting that.
Okay. Fair enough.
But-
so, yeah, if they can tick all those boxes, then for me, I don't mind if it's like half the sets.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
All
thanks
right.
for throwing firecrackers
Chiefum.
into the luxury
exactly.
suites, Chiefum.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Now-
15 minutes. We got to breeze past
Well,
the next one.
you don't need to worry about our comments section at this point, right?
Yeah.
It'll be full.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of engagement on this one.
What was the worst place, situation, time, and etc. where you ever played a game of Magic the Gathering? Now, I will say, this sounds very silly. This is a question from Carolina, by the way. Sorry, if I'm playing Magic, I'm already not in the worst possible place that I think I could be in, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like-
you have access to cards in some way. Like you're not in some kind of like, I don't know, fantasy prison.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not being. Oh, but I will say, so there's this boat that goes down from from Victoria to Seattle called the Clipper, and it's really miserable to play Magic the Gathering on the Clipper because the tables are really tiny and they've got these little lips around the edges as well that makes them even smaller. It's to catch your food if the sea is rough, but it's just like really miserable to play any kind of like board state out on those tables.
Yeah. If trying to battle for figuring out the best line while you're also trying to battle not to lose your lunch if the like sea is like particularly choppy and you're like having to fight your, sea legs or whatever it is, like not get sick, that's tough.
Yeah, catamarans. Great on calm seas. Also required sometimes to go on choppy seas.
I have played Magic while a patient at a hospital. So, like, that's not ideal, obviously. We don't want to be, like, living in hospitals for more than a day or two.
Right.
Like, I had a couple weeks stint, and, like, yeah, the
Wow.
orderly played some Magic cards with me.
Oh.
Or not.
How old
no,
were you?
sorry. Like 26.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I imagined like
Deep Nelly
15-year-old
lore.
Nelly.
Yeah, no, I need to stay in a hospital for a while. I was an adult, but no, sorry, not the orderly, like one of the workers there or whatever. But anyways, yeah. So that's like not the best. I guess I can offer that. Although in hindsight, it's like, people are still well intentioned and the room wasn't shaking. Although I may have perceived it to be.
I don't know that I've ever played Magic in any place that's particularly unpleasant or in an environment where I haven't been in charge of why I'm playing Magic.
Yeah.
Right.
I have that luxury. I play Magic with my friends usually, or at events where I've been invited to participate. Which you get into an environment and you play in that environment with eyes open.
Okay. Speaking of places where I was playing Magic with my friends, when Chicago this year, they made it bigger and they put the Magic playing area like in the basement, but the lighting on it was very dire. So there's these awful green photos going around of like the
okay.
Magic playing area, and I do confirm that it was very depressing to play down there. So that might be one of the worst places.
But at least you weren't on the floor, because last year in Chicago we were on the floor.
Yes, and it was
sometimes.
loud, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, obviously, my perfect Magic playing experience is like a beautiful cabin in the woods, right, with my closest friends and beers at hand.
For sure.
Cons can sometimes be loud and overwhelming.
Yeah, some of the great spots to play Magic that are like also kind of dire is like I've played camping inside of a tent, but like this is when I was a kid, and so it's like me and my cousins on a trip to Tofino, so there's like sand in our tent, and I'm like, playing my Dakon Blackblade with no sleeves, like onto the surface of the tent, like along the grit or whatever. But I can imagine that like probably the best answer to this question is just like you get into a Commander game because you think it's going to be fun, like at a new friend's house, or like you're with your partner and they're like, hey, or come do, we're going to hang out. And then while we're hanging out at the friend's place, like, let's play Commander. And then you get into this game and you don't have a way out and you realize that you don't like the people you're playing with anymore. And I think that can happen.
Oh,
where
and they're
you, like,
playing stacks.
You take a risk where you're playing with people that you've met, but they're not really your friends yet. And then you're like, you either feel kind of unsafe or you feel uncomfortable and you don't really have a way out that makes sense other than finishing the game and then trying to make sure that you get home safely or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah, Magic's an extended social contract, a couple hours.
Yeah.
I think the only like unpleasant magic experience that I can really talk about is I was at a restaurant once with my partner and we were like ordering our food and the server was like, "Hey, you're Cameron from Friday Nights, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he was like, "Oh, okay, because I have like a bunch of notes on the way that you guys build your decks in that show."
Oh, God.
And I was hoping to like be able to give you guys advice. Is there someone I can talk to, like, who writes for you on like getting your decks all properly like represented and making sure your board states are clear? And I was just like, "Oh, no, I don't know anyone for that." And he's like, "Okay, well, you can think about it. I'll be back in a few minutes." And
If you want to eat here, you're going to give me a name and an email address.
yeah,
So here's the deal. It would be very difficult to give you all of the information, and it would make the episodes too long and not funny. If you want to watch Magic the Gathering gameplay videos, we also make those.
yes.
It's true. The board states are usually correct there, although sometimes we make mistakes. Yeah.
I mean, not to spoil the magic of Friday nights,
Yeah.
but I mean, Nelson helped it with a lot of the magic stuff for the season.
It's true,
And it would
actually.
be like-
I have been a consultant on what constitutes cards that make sense in a deck or what board states or scenarios, not just in this past season of Friday Nights, but actually that was like some of our earliest interactions was Kathleen, observing Yellow Jacket and then going, "I need to write some jokes and it's going to be this format. Maybe I can buy Nelly a beer," and just ask him a bunch of questions. And it turned out you could.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal. I believe in seeking out expert advice.
Right.
And-
Turns out you should have asked Cameron Server instead of me.
Well, yeah, but I like you and I don't know this person. So,
Fair enough.
but the point being, like, it will just come and say, we are looking to engineer a wacky situation. What cards could get us into this wacky situation? It's very top down design.
Yeah.
Although I guess
It's a
I
hat
have,
set.
At Friday night, every season of Friday Nights is a hat set.
and I guess the worst gaming experience I ever had was one time I actually got my nerve up and I was talking with this girl in the university, like I think in the library, in the cafe in the library. And a guy I knew came up to me, and this was when I played Mech Warrior.
Okay. The
And he
card
was
game
like,
or the
yeah, and he
miniatures?
just like
Okay.
the miniatures.
Okay.
And he just like interrupted and started talking to me about Mech Warrior.
Oh God.
And she left, and he was like, "Well, you weren't getting anywhere anyway."
You didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's so cold. I'm sorry, Cameron.
gamers.
He doesn't represent the mech warrior.
I mean,
community.
it doesn't matter because ultimately you would want someone who would accept your love of Mech Warrior like your current partner.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, like, she just seemed like, "Oh, okay, I guess you're having a different conversation now."
Right.
Bye.
That's okay. Yeah, you needed to end up with someone who was going to rescue you from talking to this guy who recognized you, not someone who's going to abandon you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
Cameron.
Ride or die.
Yeah.
All right, well, the wheel of possibility turns on and brings us our next question. This may be off topic.
Nope, there's no way to be off topic
Yep.
in this show.
But can I get an album recommendation for deck building from Yeet the Rich? I was just thinking about my favorite albums of the year on my walk in today, actually.
Nice.
Yes, I'm gonna recommend to you. What's the name of the? I want to get it exact. The new McCluskey album, which is really good. It is got a really. It's got a picture of a screaming clown on the cover.
Okay.
It's called "The World Is Still Here, and So Are We," and it is. You might listen to this and say, "But Kathleen, you don't like music that's smiling." This music is smiling, but it's like that angry smile. Rather than like a happy smile, because I don't like happy smile music, but like angry manic smile music can sometimes float my boat, and it is high energy and not very long, so you'll spend a bouncy 40 minutes listening to it.
I recently listened to the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack while I was deck building. They've got like an orchestral remaster from the like FF7 remaster that sounds great. So this summer, like right when this comes out, you might want to re-listen to your favorite JRPG soundtracks. I also just like asking the smart home assistant to play lo-fi beats to study and chill.
Yeah.
When I'm deck building, it's like nice to just have the, I don't know, ambient, doesn't demand too much from me sounds. I enjoy that music. I've killed you. I've crushed you.
I have to curate No algorithm may curate my ear holes.
Oh, fair enough.
I'll listen to it's like, hey, here's stuff you may like weekly playlist. But like if I'm sitting down, I want to choose my experience.
Well, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a fucking snob, as it turns out.
It's okay. You're willing to put in that extra bit of energy for your own satisfaction and pleasure and enjoyment, and that's fine.
I will say though, like that would be like, okay, James is on board. We're so off topic. Hey, James, how would you react if somebody was like, yeah, I just like ask Netflix to show me a random show?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Because you love television and movies and visual media, right?
But you're allowed to guide it. Like I said, the genre, and no offense to all of the DJs, creators, composers of this genre, I can't always tell the difference between your various lo-fi beats to study and chill tracks.
No one is making a piece of art and tagging it. But like, here's the.
I would argue that it is. It's just kind of inside of a certain pocket of allowed. Like every finger painting kind of looks a little bit the same. They've got a color palette and then they smeared stuff around.
I would say the artistic intent behind I am making an artistic statement and a cool thing to listen to, and I am making something that will be tagged lo-fi beats on Spotify and make me 0.2 cents, but I'll get to the top of all of the playlists.
Right.
And I'm just throwing in random assets together, like, like people who just buy assets off the Steam store and just dump.
Sure.
Right? Make dump games. I'd say those are different.
That's fair.
And you may get...
I don't know which one I'm getting when I ask the
You're
robot.
probably getting the second one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because Spotify likes that because they don't have to pay labels.
No,
and stuff.
this is good. This is good for Nelly. I'm learning things here. There's creme de la lo-fi beats I should be seeking out then.
I can recommend you some some artisanal lo-fi beats.
All right.
But
I want them because I enjoy the genre. But I don't have this is my favorite lo-fi beats track.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean
mush.
when I say it's a little bit samey, right? And I don't mind that. So sorry, James, can I derailed the third derail off of this tangent tree to say, what if it was Netflix, play me some stand-up comedy or play me a true crime that I haven't seen yet? You know what I mean? Like I think plenty of people would be fine with that.
I mean, it's not something I've ever personally done, but...
Okay. I haven't done it either because I don't know how, but...
I don't think they offer that.
But if that was possible, I would regularly be like one screen video game, other screen stand-up comedy thing I haven't seen yet. And I would chill out with that. You know, if there was an option, especially if I could get it done in like voice commands. That's just now you're learning things you don't like about me, Kathleen. Welcome to the podcast.
No, this is fine. I think I am the abnormality here. I want to listen to one thing at a time. If I'm editing video and like I'm the odd one out in the office, the only thing I can watch is video. Matt and Graham have like another thing going on the second monitor, and I'm like, one thing at a time, please.
Yeah, no, I can't listen to anything else when I'm editing.
I can't listen to music with lyrics when I'm writing.
Yeah, sure.
Like I can listen to like wow kind of like singy lyrics, but like hip hop is right out. I can't do it because it's clattering around in
that
there.
part of your brain is already being used with your own monologue.
Correct.
And if you hear Dr. Dre speaking in the same part of your brain is lighting up, and now you're fighting, and you can't remember what you were thinking.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But people who don't have an inner monologue probably don't experience the same frustration because not everyone does.
Oh, they could listen to Billy Woods whenever they want.
I don't know. I actually kind of like listening to rap when I'm writing.
Sure.
Because like I find that it puts me into a fun cadence.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been really liking the two new Men I Trust albums.
They're so good.
Ecus Caballus and Ecus Asinus. They're two kinds of donkeys. Ecus Asinus is more like a hazy, summery springtime album, and Ecus Caballus is more, I don't know.
It's a little bit like darker in tone.
Yeah, it's a little like, I don't know, more of an evening vibe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, darker in tone, a little bit more energetic, but...
Yeah. I think so. I really like Ecus Asinus. I've actually been listening to that a lot while I was writing, actually.
Yeah.
Working on a writing project.
And then there's like a Ben Frost live album
Ooh.
that was really good. That's collected from a bunch of his performances, around the world, called Under Certain Light and Atmospheric Conditions. What else? Back X-Wash. has a new album out, Only Dust Remains. It's like the third of her trilogy of like albums. And then New Deaf Heaven, Lonely People with Power.
I haven't listened to that one.
It's good. It's actually really, really good. It's the great Black Gaze album.
I'll add it to my list.
I usually listen to "You Forgot It in People" by Broken Social Scene at least once a year still, and I used to play it in the YJ all the time. So that is a pretty good building a deck album. I've built a bunch of decks to it. I don't know, other stuff that's on my playlist. I recently re-listened to original Weezer album. I'm trying to put together stuff for my kids to hear from the 20th century.
Oh, yeah, I do that all the time.
Sure.
I played Penelope Closer, but I played her The Downward Spiral, but I skipped Closer.
Oh, okay, sure.
And she was like, no, this album's great.
Yeah.
It still works without that song, I would say. There's a lot of important moments on that album.
Reptile might have some content.
Sure.
She had zoned out by that point. It's a long album. She went to go play with Lego or something.
I also recently have been listening to Cowboy Carter by Beyonce.
Is it good?
I like it. Yeah, there's a few really catchy tunes. I don't know if it's Beyonce's best work, but it's solid. I listened to it all the way through twice. And I also was listening to this Black Panther album by Kendrick Lamar because this is from 2017, it was accompanying or had something to do with the movie release, but I didn't hear about that. I didn't know there was an entire Kendrick Lamar album of Black Panther music, and there's a lot of collaborators, and I don't know, one of the tunes was particularly catchy, so I listened to the whole album. And I was I still just liked All the Stars the most off of that, but
oh yeah, I remember that song.
Yeah.
It had Rihanna on it, right?
SZA. Yeah.
Also very talented. All right. Moving on to our next question. Is there a mechanic you would love to see expanded upon? Often with current Magic, it feels like we don't get time to focus on a new mechanic before it gets thrown to the 9 winds. Oh, so a recent mechanic we've seen that maybe we could have come back. So
I really like the Is It mechanic from Ravnica Allegiance, Jumpstart.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting space where you could it wasn't quite the one from Shadowmoor, where you discard a card to play
Madness.
No.
Oh, sorry. Jumpstart does demand you discard another card to play it again, doesn't it? Or is it just? But it's not flashback, right? Jumpstart was. It's
kind of in the same spaces.
I think you have to discard a land.
No, that's for Raven's Crime or Una's Grace, right?
Wow, we're throwing around a lot of mechanics here. That's okay.
Yeah. There are many ways.
Raven's Crime is, it has to specifically be a land, and that's Retrace.
Retrace is the one I was thinking of. But Jumpstart, I think you exile it and something else from your...
Jumpstart makes you discard another card to recast it.
Yeah.
But then you exile it. So it's like pseudo-flashback, but it costs a card as well the second time.
Yeah.
Okay, Jumpstart is a keyword ability on instants and sorceries that allows the player to cast an additional spell at the cost of discarding a card.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got there.
Yeah. Yes, because I like the discard mechanic because Madness is one of my favorite mechanics as well. But I feel we can't get too many Madness cards. But this.
Yeah.
Similar and interesting.
Yeah.
And it's turned up in a couple of Commander decks, I think. A couple of Commander cards have had this in addition to it, or maybe Modern Horizons cards have had this. But I want to see more of it. I think it's fun.
And sometimes you want to get stuff in the bin.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite, I'm just going to say this real quick, because I don't think I have a very nuanced opinion. I really like Renew. I think that's a really elegant mechanic. I'm kind of sad that it's not coming back for a long time. I mean, probably. We did see Mountain Saddle come back very briefly. But I don't know. I think Renew is fun. Works with Jumpstart. Jumpstart and Renew in the same set. Cowards, do it.
Right?
Beauty.
We'll probably get another Renew Commander card at some point or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a cool. If you weren't familiar from the Tarkir Dragonstorm expansion, just this card can be exiled from your graveyard for a spell-like effect that may or may not be kind of related to the other card, and it's always on creatures, so it's creatures before have had Unearth as a way to kind of give them a flashback where they get another chance at doing something from your graveyard, and this is sort of the opposite of that, where your creature card, instead of coming back to play, will do something else. usually buff one of your other creatures.
I mean, I feel like Green Black has had a lot of these kind of like bring stuff back from the graveyard or use the graveyard effects. And sometimes they've been a lot of the time they're a bit meh, they're a bit overcosted, but I like this iteration of it. I found it plays well.
A lot of the time, the Green-Black graveyard plan looks like it either really isn't as impressive as the rest of the mechanics from the same set, or in any given game, there's nothing that can beat it. Like if it's like, if it gets everything working and it's got 20 cards in its graveyard, all of its cards just seem like the best thing that's happening in that game.
Yeah.
It's like sort of do nothing. Whoa, this is powerful.
Yeah, it's do nothing or it's like delve and dredge.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like, because like the thing is, like sometimes those graveyard mechanics just there's too many hoops to jump through. Like you've already got to get the card into your bin. Like so, like it doesn't do anything in your hand. It doesn't do anything on the battlefield. It already has to be dead, which is sometimes not actually easy. You know. So.
I enjoyed Carnivorous Flytrap or Omnivorous Flytrap from Duskmourn. This is a Delirium card, so similarly, like things in the graveyard matter, and they did a great job with these Duskmourn cards bringing back Delirium. But there's only 1 or 2 cards that care about Delirium Plus. This card counts how many card types are in your graveyard and doesn't just stop counting at 4. Like it doesn't do anything if you don't have at least 4, but then it does more things if you have 6 or more. And there's 1 or 2 other cards, I think, from Duskmourn or the Commander set that just like count how many card types. I remember now. It's the Bear from Commander. There's the same mana cost, and Ursine Monstrosity wants to know how many card types are in your graveyard. So this kind of like cool mini game that like is more exciting in the new Tarmogoyf days of being a 9/10 with battles, right? Like if you can play more of these new card types, get them in your yard, then you get a bonus. And so that's like a fun piece of design space. I like both these cards a fair bit. Although they're not too powerful. They don't even have much evasion, and like they get answered easily. They're not like broken cards. They're just kind of interesting cards. And then I'm not sure if there's any other design or mechanics recently that we haven't had enough out of. Although I will say that Surge keeps trying to build a food deck for Canadian Highlander, and it's still missing one more thing. So like they have been printing more and more food cards. For me, the like artifact tokens and like in-game objects, I think there's still more to come. I know some people are already kind of tired of it, and like the game has gotten complex a lot.
See our recent Barcube stream.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But like the opposite of that, I still feel like there is unfortunately more interesting things to come from food tokens, treasure tokens, clue tokens. Yeah. So I'm not actually mad about it, although it's an easy one to be like, Magic's too hard these days. They want me to have all these different kinds of tokens, but like the blood tokens I thought were pretty interesting.
Yeah, blood tokens were interesting. I liked map tokens.
Map tokens are super great design space. Junk tokens are pretty cool.
I mean, here's the deal. We all kind of like,
rad counters were great.
I like most of the tokens they come up with.
Right. Yeah. Actually, rad counters, sorry if we could just stop on that one specifically.
Yeah.
So Fallout just had 4 commander decks. It was a pretty good set. If you didn't play it, they worked well together. It was a pretty good match. You can watch the EDSC if you want, but the rad counter mechanic specifically, I find pretty interesting. Where it's like this is the thing that mills everybody, or it mills whoever gets them, does damage to them, and cares about whether you milled a land or non-land. So it's like this counter that is like trying to get more than one card type into your bin for you. So like works great with Delirium. Rad counters are interesting and also deals damage to you. It's just like there's clearly just a lot going on with just having one rad counter.
Hate to hand it to them, but rad counters were great.
Yeah, they were rad. Like I would like to see more rad counter cards get printed.
All right. Well, that's a fulsome answer, as we have given you for every single other question, and it was remarkably on topic. So let's keep that going and take that energy forward to our next question. Do you have any thoughts, feelings in regards to the show that is the shit show that is the TCG Player eBay and their terrible handling of their workers attempting to unionize from Gestriel GWZ? Yeah, I think it's a shit show. I think it's terrible. Shameful.
Yeah, complete disgrace.
Yeah, it sucks, and I wish they would stop it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's many legal ramifications we can take, but you can email your representative. Like, I am, along with many of you probably reading this, got the email from the TCG Players Union saying, like, In a shocking announcement, the union, eBay, and TCG Player announced that they will be shutting down operations at their sole authentication center in Syracuse, New York, the only part of eBay that's represented by a union. And while they claim this is an effort to consolidate operations under one facility in Kentucky, we know the truth. TCG Player and eBay are doing this in an attempt to dissolve our union. But we aren't giving up. Like other tech giants and oligarchs, eBay and TCG Player think they can disregard workers' rights under the current administration by deploying illegal tactics to silence us and put an end to contract negotiations. They should realize by now they will never stop fighting. This is from the TCG Player union again. And they organize to love their jobs, but they realize they need to organize. So if you want to support them, you just need to try and tell CEO Robert Bigler and eBay CEO Jamie Yanon, I'm not sure how engaged you are.
Yeah, that you'll take your business elsewhere.
But yeah, if you tweet about it and let them know that you don't want to buy from TCG Player until they restore their union, I think that's a great plan for you.
Yeah. Always important in these situations to listen to what the union is telling you to do.
Right.
The union knows how to do job action. Lots of people will be like, this place is busting their union. We're going to do something.
Right.
We're going to
boycott them, or we're going to do X, Y, Z.
And usually the union will want you to ask you to support them by doing things in a fairly prescribed manner so that they have options for escalation.
Right.
Right.
So right now they're definitely asking you to, tweet at with the hashtag stand with TCG Player Union, I think. So please do that because they've asked you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stand up to eBay. And tag them on Instagram at TCG Union CWA. So that is a concrete thing you can do, saying I support this union. Please don't shut down the center in Syracuse, New York. Yeah.
All right, next question.
But yeah, it sucks. Let the unions unionize. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Our next question. When Morrow posted the question on Tumblr of whether people would be for or against Kithkin becoming halflings, I, a huge Lorwyn fan, was both angry and scared. How do you feel about Magic losing some of its own creature types like Viashino and possibly Kithkin, while simultaneously handing out lots of one-off creature types to UB products, such as Moogles, Astartes, etc.?
Got to be stressful to be a changeling.
Okay.
Every set release, you're just sweating bullets.
Yeah, oh man.
I don't think they can get rid of Viashino because I think it's in Dungeons and Dragons now.
Oh.
Because they've done the tie-in Dungeons and Dragons.
Wondering
thing.
if they already have gotten rid of Viashino, and I didn't notice.
Yeah, because there's speaking about it here in the past tense.
Did we lose Viashino?
I think they're lizards now.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, but I'm almost certain that Viashino are in Dungeons and Dragons because they're on Ravnica and there's the official Ravnica insert, official Ravnica book.
So, yeah, I'm just looking at Oracle, though, and Viashino Pyromancer from Core Set 2019, who was printed as a Viashino Wizard, is now in Jumpstart.
As a lizard wizard.
A lizard wizard.
Yeah, it now says Lizard Wizard. This is pretty recent. In Foundations, not even in Jumpstart 2022, it was still a Viashino.
That's it's a mechanic thing. I don't have strong opinions on it, but going from Viashino to Lizard would be like taking every other human related creature type and just being mammal.
Right. Yeah. It's so non-specific.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be no. If Viashino go to lizards, then Kithkin shouldn't go to halflings. Kithkin, halflings, space marines, humans, elves, dwarves.
They should all be mammals.
Yeah, just be mammals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think what we need is some kind of kingdom level or class, order, phylum. Mammal. Is it? No, it would be vertebrate.
Okay.
Right, then mammal. So some kind of class or order level distinction that would just be for artifact creatures.
Okay.
Is this autonomous? Is this a construct? Is this a robot? I suppose we have those, but what's the differentiating factor here?
So my thought is that I'm actually somewhat for the consolidation of creature types and having just things like Viashino, which I'm trying to find official proof of. I found an Unearthed Arcana Wizards of the Coast sort of playtest material for the races of Ravnica for Dungeons and Dragons. But I feel like from a rules perspective, you don't want to have like I'm sure having a million subtypes can get out of hand for some stupid reason that I can't even comprehend. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes, I also want. So I feel like I don't super have a horse in this race, and I played a lot of Kithkin right at the beginning of my competitive career. Like I played Kithkin seriously in Lorwyn Block Constructed and made top 8 of a PTQ in Seattle. I lost to Fairies in the first round, but I still made it to that top 8 playing Kithkin and like Kithkin. But I kind of just trust the R&D. Like I feel like they will do the best thing for the game, and I'm not like super attached one way or the other. If Kithkin became halflings because they have some reason, my instinct is going to be to trust them.
Yeah, I mean, they've done some like creature type pruning. Like we've got hounds and dogs have all been sub-collapsed and stuff like that, I believe, and just to like tidy things up.
Yeah,
But at the same time, if they're like, but we could have like all of these like very specialized individual types, like Astartes is good, or like, Moogle and stuff like that, then who cares? Let's keep Kithkin and Viashino if you can have 400 creature types and manage that.
Right.
Yeah, like I remember like a thread where people were discussing like for the sake of Astartes, like in D&D, what are Space Marines? And somebody was just like, just use the half giant template, like it's basically what they are. So like, I don't know, it for the Universes Beyond, it definitely feels like a branding thing.
Yeah, it feels like this is some place where WotC can give the other IP brand something they want. So
Right.
they're like, yeah, you can have creature type Moogle.
Yeah, and like
Costs us nothing. Right.
Yeah, whatever your feelings are around that, like I think that's probably justifiable to see that as like, the mechanic of the game being expanded for the sake of a tie-in, right? And you can feel about that how you feel about that. I think that's justifiable. But man, what would a Moogle even be?
A beast.
Bastard?
A spirit?
devil?
Would it be a spirit?
They're such dirtbags. I hate them.
Okay.
A
Kill
trickster?
King. Me and my friends would kill a Moogle with hammers. I can tell you that much.
I would not. I am not Cameron's friend when he is.
They're like your cute little buddy that help you out of the caves under Narshi, right?
I
they
mean-
must have done some things in some other games. I'm
Yeah,
not
Final
familiar with.
Fantasy 14. They're just like,
Oh,
yeah,
one of those.
they got a song. They have a king.
Okay. And they're the
Well,
worst, apparently.
yeah, they're the
I think
worst.
the lizards possibly.
staunch anti-monarchists here.
So, like, whenever they do a like kindred set, right? Like recently we had Bloomborough last summer. That was just like, this is all about creature types, and they probably updated Viashinos so that the new lizard lords can buff your Viashinos in your other formats.
I mean, that's why, right? Because like the thing is, then you have like when you have all of these subtypes, but like for example, like bird, chocobo, like all of these things that are kind of like all of the same thing. Then you'd say, why doesn't the bird lord also buff my chocobos?
right. And so
So-
sometimes they answer that question with their Oracle updates, right?
Yeah, but like that's why mechanically, and see, I couldn't think of a reason now, but now you've pointed out why you don't necessarily want 3 bazillion creature types because
Yeah.
it makes things too specific.
Makes it easier to build a like lizard deck if they're all lizards.
Exactly, right? You don't have to be like, well, I only get creatures from like one set, right?
But I guess it's neat to know that there are people, because I think I'm sorry, question asker, I don't remember your name, but it's
I don't
like
think I read it out.
You're in a different camp than the three of us, right? And so but not to say that your camp isn't valid. And there are camps that'll be like, oh, well, I want my creature type to stay the same and honor its roots and like always be a Kithkin because that is part of what I enjoy when I'm playing Magic. And as we all know, Magic is many games for many people. So it's not that there's anything wrong with the way that you enjoy and engage with Magic. And, sympathies if like when these things get kind of ruined for you, because certainly the designers sometimes make these choices that they know are going to disappoint and anger some people, and they think they have the reason for doing it that's for the health of the game or whatever.
Yeah. That was a thoughtful take, Nelson.
Sorry. I'll try to be more out of pocket for the next one.
Yeah, get those people inflamed.
Yeah.
That's what the algorithm demands. Hey, thank you. Can I get that question up one more time?
It was Wonder Dog.
Thank you, Wonder Dog.
Thank you, Underdog.
What's our next question? All right, this is from Carlin. Recently, there was some drama surrounding an 11-hour... Oh, you guys have asked us all the worst questions. Thank you so much. Recently, there is some drama surrounding an 11-hour CDH game. Thoughts on the game and follow-up. How much money would be needed to be on the line for you to compete in an 11-hour game of Magic the Gathering?
Oh, my God.
I don't know. I think I could do some pretty awful things. I would
takeout?
do some pretty awful things to Magic players for like $1 million.
I think my price is lower.
Just to play the 11-hour game?
An 11-hour CEDH
If it was a 1K
game?
for the one game, then my day is like, if I can draw, I get 250. That's probably my lowest that I would do.
$250 for 11 hours? No. There's no way I would do it for less than minimum wage. Like, let's be honest, right? I would like to get my absolute floor, the lowest amount of money I will take is $17.85, because that's minimum wage in British Columbia, times 11.
Okay. I think my 250 is right about right, especially if you want to give yourself some overtime hours for the last 3.
Oh, yeah, I do actually want overtime for the last 3. You are right.
And also, I'm stipulating that, like, I can draw and get this, and I'm willing to risk that. So maybe you want more in case you're like, well, I might not get any money because the question is phrased as on the line. So, like, where I'm assuming the winner gets the money or the surviving players, when the game is a draw, split it.
Yeah, you were remarkably close. That it's actually not even $250, slightly under.
That's minimum wage too, and you've learned how to play Magic, so you're expressing a skill, or you're demonstrating a skill.
Yeah,
so you probably should. Maybe it should be 2K is on the line. I don't know, something like that is a kind of minimum.
Like I've worked some pretty dire minimum wage jobs. I've worked in kitchens, and I feel that like work environment is probably a lot like a CEDH table, where you have people who are just like, no, I didn't want my grilled cheese like this. I wanted it like this. And you're like, I will make it again. Just stop talking to me. Right? And like, then you make it and it comes back again. And they're like, no, the first way was better.
Well, and it is like a CDH table in that most of the people are very reasonable, but occasionally there's one asshole who's out there to game the system and ruin it for everyone, which is really what happened at this table.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody was taking like 10 minutes per game action,
right?
And then
one, so I didn't read this whole story, but it's like I know that there was a like all day just final game of this CDH tournament that happened recently, including like one player who just talked constantly.
He just
like,
filibustered.
Just kept talking, and apparently, and I started reading a report of this on Reddit, and in the first paragraph, it was like, and Shivam shared this, so like I'm just following the links that Shivam posted on Blue Sky. If you're curious, just go scroll down on Shivam's page, and yeah, the report was like, and this player would talk for 10 minutes before making each game action. All of this is fine and okay, but, and then I was like, nope, you lost me. I stopped reading. I was like, the reporter is like, it's okay to talk for 10 minutes in between each game action of an EDH game.
That's
and I'm
slow play.
I'm like, no, it's not. And so it makes me realize, like, if you're saying that, you got to the point where this game happened, and then you wrote a report saying it's okay to take 10 minutes to talk before you cast a spell or whatever, then I'm like, okay, so this was a tournament, but like, who's running it? And I didn't dig further into it. I don't know. Hopefully there's some administrator who's learned something or not, and this is just the event they want to run, but I don't want to be anywhere near it. And from a judging standpoint, it's like, what is this still Magic the Gathering? I don't know anymore. I
would say that I don't play CDH. I think this does not say anything about CDH gameplay. I think this says something about this tournament being run poorly and them not having empowered judges to be like, stop that. Right?
Play your turn.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a warning for slow play. And do it again, I will disqualify you.
Sure.
Right? You're out. Finished, I think that would happen at any other tournament.
Yeah, at a regular, so I don't know what they use for multiplayer tournament rules, honestly.
Yeah.
There's documents. There's tournament rules that cover every tournament, including a slow play section and a stalling section. And so typically if it's not your fault, like if you're unintentionally taking too long to do something, you get one warning, and then the second infraction results in a game loss. So, and then for stalling, that's cheating. Like if you're intentionally making the game take longer on purpose so that you can alter the result of the match, like say the match won't finish during the timelines because you took too long because you're stalling, that's cheating, and so you get disqualified. So either losing the game or getting disqualified are the typical penalties if you keep being too slow, depending on what the judge determines your intention was. But that obviously didn't apply at this tournament.
I can be pretty stubborn, especially when I think someone is trying to drive me out of something.
Could you get on the microphone, please?
Yeah, they can't hear you.
I can be pretty stubborn, especially when I think someone is trying to drive me out of something, even if I don't want to be there. As soon as somebody's like, well, I'm going to make this so unpleasant for you that you leave.
Well, now I don't want to.
Yeah, now I don't want to. I'm going to make you have it and prove to you, somebody who cares, presumably, who is not me, that, I will not budge. I will not budge. And I think if this was happening to me, that would activate my part of the brain where it's like, no, you want to filibuster for 10 minutes between each game action? Do it. Do it. More. No, you're repeating yourself. Nope, you've already said that.
Okay.
I want no sips of water.
Yeah.
No sips of water. Keep talking.
The egregious thing to me is that the person who did this was some sort of I do not know who this is, but they are sort of, I would say, a minor content creator in the CDH community. And to which I just say, if you are a content creator of any level of success, it is by the grace of God that you go.
Yeah.
And if you abuse the people that imbued you with that little sliver of power, well, then you deserve everything you get, my friend. Don't be an asshole.
Right.
Yeah. There was something similar that happened in a Warhammer tournament a few months ago where one player was accused basically of not disclosing something that his team was capable of doing. And, it got a certain amount of blowback, which is justifiable. And the retort to it was this is the finals of a pretty high level tournament where it was kind of not knowing what a top meta deck was capable of doing.
Right. It's you should know.
It's not your opponent's job to tell you what their pieces do or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
This is not your first time fighting this team, this tournament. All the rules are open and available. It's not your opponent's job to remind you that they might have a reaction in a certain situation.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you target my ward creature with your lightning bolt. It's not my job to tell you you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's my job to tell you need to pay 4 mana.
In a competitive environment.
Yeah.
When you're in a top level tournament, you should be expected to remember certain things.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just the nature of different tournament structures. But 11 hours of CEDH sounds really
11 hours of anything with somebody like
mind-melting.
that.
It sounds mind-melting.
It's not the CDH. We're going to remove that. It's this asshole for 11 hours.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Man.
And
11 hours of dealing with this.
Again, we didn't dive deeply and figure out all the details of this. And if the case was that it's it was a tournament, sure, but it was just being run by just the people who played, and the only observers are the other people who got knocked out the previous day or whatever, and if it's possible that everyone was having a good time, then I don't know, go off, kings and queens. But
maybe everyone was having fun and laughing and enjoying themselves.
As a part of the Magic community, it sounds dire. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone reading about this is just what do you mean?
Yeah,
we're just trying to imagine the scenario you were in, and we're all just turning white. The blood is draining from our faces.
Everyone who's been to any kind of Magic event, it's just God, after 5 rounds, you're mentally wiped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? So just 11 hours for the final round. With previous rounds before.
Right.
Yeah.
Misery.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, bringing it back to my own not personal experience, but something I'm more familiar with. But there was a kill team, again, another kill team tournament a couple of years ago where the final game took 4 hours.
Okay.
And that's a game that's supposed to take 90 minutes to an hour if you're really proficient at it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a real millimeters matter knife fight.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Extremely it sounded stressful.
Well,
right?
yes.
It sounded
Sure.
Right, but when you're in the finals, I imagine all those details can matter. But like the 10 minutes of filibustering between game actions, this is not 11 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, this is not 11 hours of sweaty, tense Magic where everybody's like, somehow getting all their cards back and like resetting the game state to 0, like,
Yeah.
multiple times. This is just 11 hours of some guy wasting time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
hoping
should-
that you'll have to leave.
You shouldn't have to. Yeah, you shouldn't have to listen to your opponent monologue. That's not part of Magic the Gathering. If you want to make friends and then have conversations, great. That's a great part of life. But during the game, like, you should be able to expect your opponents to be like telling you what they're doing if they're speaking.
Then paying attention to the game state.
Yeah. Like, you don't respect your opponents, then, I mean, that's just going to reflect, or that's going to go into the community and become a mode of play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, like I suspect, like what my impression is that like this is a little insular pocket of CDH that somehow got to the sentence talking for 10 minutes between game actions, and all that is okay. And like at that point, you're like, okay, what happened? What happened? Where did we start? How did we get here? You know what I mean? Because that's not what the rest of Magic tournaments look like.
No. No.
Even Commander tournaments.
I
usually.
I think you could not even go to like a fun event like a CubeCon
Yeah.
and expect to behave that way.
no.
Right? And CubeCon is just, we're drafting for fun.
Yeah.
There's no prizes at CubeCon.
Right.
But it is, an environment where you're going to get together with random people and play.
Yeah, and people
multiplayer.
probably do talk for long periods of time at CubeCon, but it's like you still got to pick your moments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people are there to have fun, so they're chatting, but
Yeah.
that's different from like just holding the game hostage.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even at the most casual, fun-based, social kind of just for the love of the game kind of environments, that is not okay. So there's no way it should ever be okay. And a place where money is on the line.
Yeah,
at a tournament.
I hope that this past weekend's 11-hour CDH finals and everyone who was involved in the main event, like all of the players that enrolled in that tournament, I hope it was a learning experience that they don't wholly regret, including the person who was doing the filibustering. Like, I hope that this week has shone some light on the choices that they've all made in their lives and that they can grow from this.
I hope they feel bad.
Well,
I think they should.
I think after that much
Sure.
Monster Energy drink, you're going to feel something.
Right.
Or maybe nothing.
Just
maybe
the
you
urge
just come
to
out of it
piss.
feel nothing.
Do they feel the
Feeling
urge
bad would be an improvement.
to ask James if we have any other questions?
Yeah, we can do one more.
One more.
Oh my gosh. What's your favorite part of the Magic experience that isn't actually playing Magic, says Sean. The Gathering.
Yeah, hanging out with people I don't get to see usually.
Or just playing new games and just picking up Commander and stuff and just
Yeah.
I
playing.
like road tripping.
Yeah.
You drive to a tournament that's outside of your city.
In so long.
It's pretty
I kinda
great, right?
miss road
Like, it
trips.
sucks too. Like, it's sort of like, you got to organize it and you got to pay for it and you got to get, make your connections. Like, we live on an island. So
yeah.
Traveling to a PTQ or like a pre-release when those were only in Vancouver, like those could be fun trips. But it's fun because you're hanging out with your friends basically. So it's all the gathering is still the right answer. Certainly.
I also like artist alleys at events.
Nice.
I think it's interesting to talk to people who have no idea who I am and don't care.
I like reading the little nuggets of lore on the bottom of the cards and being like, what is sometimes you read something and it's like, wow, that's part of a larger story. How interesting. I think that's fun.
I guess I also enjoy running events. I don't know if I miss it create it's not the same kind of I sort of miss it like missing road trips because I used to organize large tournaments regularly when I was working at Yellow Jacket Games, and there was a lot of satisfaction in that, but it was more is the different kind where it's just this is a stressful piece of work I'm doing and I'm trying to make sure that all these pieces fit into place and everybody knows about the tournament, and then on the weekend trying to make sure everybody finds their things okay. So that was work, and I did enjoy it, but not in the same kind of fun kind of airy way, and that's more relatable for everybody. Yeah.
So it was
Okay.
rewarding.
Yeah, I don't know. There's the different kinds of fun. There's the fun that you look forward to, the fun that you enjoy in the moment, and the fun that you like talking about afterwards or think or remembering. Right? There's the different parts that you enjoy, and so I'm glad I've done all those tournament experience or tournament organizing experiences. I could do it again in the future, and so I appreciate that I've built that skill.
Mm-hmm.
But it certainly was like in the moment, like while it's happening, it's like, well, Nellie's stressed. You can tell he's like trying to like answer questions one after another.
It's
running back
hard.
and forth in the room, right? Yeah.
But you enjoy the challenge and you recognize that it's built you a skill.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad I pulled it off, and I've had like several successes, right? So
Yeah, that's a kind of fun.
yeah.
Fun of
exactly.
achievement, fun of organizing.
For sure.
But now, sorry, Cameron.
If I could just amend my answer, I think my favorite part actually is when I'm talking to somebody about anything that isn't what the event is about.
Okay.
Not to disparage like Magic or like, if you go to PAX, right? And it's just so nice to like hang out with people who you don't get to see very often, who have other things going on in their lives outside of whatever the main event is. I think that's interesting and rewarding, and honestly a little bit of relief around like the mental space that you've been in. It's nice to get out of it. Like you are inherently getting out of your house, right? In order to go to an event, you have to go and touch grass at some point. And it's nice to keep that energy moving during the event as well.
Do you know what my favorite thing about Magic the Gathering podcasting is? Saying it's time to end the podcast. Hey, thanks so much for giving us all of those wonderful, thought-provoking questions for our listener Q&A. Thank you so much to Cameron and Nelson, who are here to answer, and of course, James on tech. I want to say thank you once again to Card Kingdom. You can use affiliate code LRR to get an order in and to let them know that you like us and support us, and we really appreciate it. And you can also get a button. If you say loading ready run, send me button, please. What button? Good question. Let us know. And if you're thinking, well, now I need something to put my cards in, why not Dragon Shield sleeves? Thanks to Dragon Shield, also a sponsor of the show. You can use code LRRMTG5 to get 5% off your order. And finally, if you are like, boy, I just love listening to these people talk for over an hour about all sorts of things very tangentially related to Magic the Gathering, why not go to patreon.com/loadingreadyrun and consider throwing us basically a tip in there. We couldn't do what we do without your support, so thank you so much for everything at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Until next time, I think we're wrapped up. Do we have any other spicy questions to go on, James?
No.
You can cut our mics right as you ask us something just absolutely career-ending.
It's very tempting.
All right, well, we'll leave you with that. Maybe tell us in the comments below what question we should possibly never answer.
Ooh.
The forbidden question.
Dare us.
Dare us.
Yeah.
2025 is the year Lure gets canceled.
Okay, bye, everybody.